What's up everyone, 6Bitty here, and today I'm going to provide a full tutorial on how you can improve your bunker shots in PGA Tour 2K23. I think bunker shots are actually the hardest thing in this video game, and if you improve them, you really take shots off your score. And so I have a full gameplay tutorial playlist on all aspects of this game, so if you're looking for specifics, check that playlist. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comment below. And if you get some enjoyment, drop a like, subscribe if you want to see more. But let's talk about bunker shots here. The best way to practice, I've received a lot of questions about this, but when you watch my tutorial videos, you're like, where you're at, how you're moving your ball around. So when you go to casual training on the main menu, it's going to take you to the driving range. Hit start on the driving range and you can actually go into chipping practice. So you select practice and go into chipping, which is where we are right now. You can hit the B button to pick up your ball and move it wherever you want. You can hit LB and RB to switch between different targets. So if we hit LB, we moved here. If I double tap RB, it moves back here. Okay, so we're going to start with a short-sided bunker shot here. It's a 15-yard shot, 5 feet uphill. And you're going to find yourself in these shots all the time. The short-sided bunker shots are some of the hardest shots in real life, but also some of the hardest shots in this game. So when you find yourself in the bunker, the first thing you want to look at, you're going to apply what you've learned in the lie ranges video. So at the top right of the screen here, we take a look at our lie range. You can have a different lie range for each club you use out of the sand and each shot type you choose out of the sand. So this time we have a 76 to 84% lie. That means my ball, if I hit a full lob wedge splash shot, right? A full lob wedge splash shot carries 35 yards. If I hit a full shot, it's either going to carry 76%, the low end of the range, 84%, or anywhere in between. What I do is pick a number in the middle. I would choose 80% in my calculations here. So what I would do, I talked about this in my lie range video. Just get a calculator out. I don't know. I don't like to do that math in my head. You can. I take 0.8 times 35. That gives me 28. So this is going to fly 28. So if this flies 28, that's going to put us all the way back here, right? It's going to go way too far. So we have to compensate for that. So now from this spot, all I've got to do is pick my landing spot. So there's a couple different approaches to bunkers. The meta right now is chip shots, and I'm going to show you why chip shots are the meta. We're going to do a splash shot first, and then I'm going to approach this with the chip shot. And we will do different examples in this video. But as a basic rule here, from the sand, a short-sided sand shot, I want to make sure I land this bar a couple of grid lines before, because it's going to roll out quite a bit from the sand, especially on a splash. A chip shot, you have a little bit more control. But in this situation, I would want to aim about 1, 2, 3 grid lines short. And then I do the eye test, right? I'm like, okay, if I land here, my ball, if I miss tempo or under power, I could be way back down. It could roll all the way back into the rough or bunker. So based on my eye test, I'm going to go ahead and be like, I'm playing this safe, right? I'm going to go ahead and aim up to like 14. So that's always do the eye test. I talk about this in my other tutorial videos, focus on where you want to land it, but then think about where would you rather miss? Would you rather miss short or far? So I have my distance. I'm going to aim for 14. I would rather be far than short in this example. Now we got to think about shot shaping. If I hit this stock shot from the sand, it's going to roll out way too much, right? You need to shot shape. So hold down L1 or LB, not sure what it is on PC, but use your shot shaping feature. What I do in the bunkers is a little bit of loft, left stick slightly down, and then right stick slightly down as well. So you can see that's my typical splash shot bunker. Now, if on very fast greens, I would put more right stick. I would move the right stick down even farther. The problem, everybody, which you all probably know this, is look at that tempo forgiveness area. You see how small it gets? And when you're outside of that in a splash shot, every time I adjust this to add loft and spin, it gets smaller, which really brings up the importance of tempo, right? So keep in mind, there's a risk reward with every single shot shaping you do. That's why many people are hitting the chip shot for bunkers. Now, who knows, by the time this video, this video is going to be posted early on in this game's life cycle. Maybe chip shots have been changed out of the sand and are much harder now. So we have our shot set up. 14 is where we want to aim. We have our shot shaping set up, but we got to hit a partial shot, right? This is what makes splash shots so hard in this video game. And that's probably the problem that many of you are having. I have to hit a partial splash shot, and I have the power meter turned off. That's usually how I play, but for purposes of this video, I know like a large majority of my viewers play on pro, right? So we will put it on pro for demonstration purposes. Distance control meter on. I'm turning off distance control assist because I just don't really like that on. But let's turn that on for demonstration purposes for this video. I know a lot of my audience plays on pro. But you apply the same concepts without the power meter. If you're playing without the power meter, you probably have a pretty good idea of when to swing, right? So with the power meter on here, go into practice swing. Click the left stick in. We have our shot set up. Let's feel the rhythm. When does the controller vibrate? Mine vibrates right here. So if you're playing without the power meter, get a grip on when it's vibrating. If you're on PC and you don't have haptic feedback, you're playing mouse and keyboard, take a look at the club. At when does the club, how high is it? You can look at the wrist or the club. The wrist on the golfer and how it is related to the body, I think, is the easiest way to see it. So as we swing back, you can see on my character model here, when the wrist gets up to a little above the neck, the top hand, that's a perfect swing. So you can look at that as your reference. But then practice swing. On partial shots from the sand, it feels like a different tempo, right? Most people say, oh, it is a different tempo, but it's actually the same tempo, but you have more of an urgency. You have to slow down your downswing. Everybody's tendency is to fast, right? My tendency is to fast. You got to really focus on slowing down that downswing. It is a slow transition. What helps some people is I do this actually a lot. So I don't pull the stick all the way back. I pull it like halfway and I keep it halfway. And then I just lightly flick the stick forward. That helps me with my tempo on partial bunker shots and partial chip shots. So just holding the stick back, you don't have to bring it all the way back. You don't even have to flick the stick forward all the way forward to the very top of the controller or the thumbstick. You can just very lightly pull it back and very lightly push it forward. Work on slowing down your downswing. So we have all that, right? We have all that information. We've done our practice swing. Next up, we got to hit the shot and focus. Well, we got to focus on our aiming. I didn't even talk about that. I was so focused on the distance, but don't forget, read it like a green. Where is it going to hit? Where is it going to roll? It's the same concept. If these beads are rolling to the right, so I need to aim more to the left. The wind's not really a factor here on splash shots, but here we go. We got our swing. Let's hit the shot. Oh, but beautiful golf shot, right? We calculated perfect, but we fasted it in the forgiveness area on pro. I usually play on master difficulty. Let's hit that same shot and do it very fast. Many of you have been here, right? This is the common bunker shot. Look at the character. Look at Doc there. She's so mad. But you see how it doesn't go anywhere. The reason people are hitting chip shots is because of that same reason. So we hit a very good splash shot there. Good, solid tempo. We are in the gray area. As long as you're in the gray or white area, you're in good shape. If you're outside of that area, you're in trouble on a splash. But what you're seeing a lot of people do is chip it. So what I can do, same principle, a 25-yard chip shot, right? So I'm going to choose, it's a 76% to 84% lie. I'm going to take 0.8 times 25, 20. So I'm going to go ahead and compensate where this ball is going to fly. It's going to fly 20 yards based on the sand lie, right? So let's choose our landing spot. On chip shots from the sand, you can get a little bit more aggressive. So I'm going to aim about 1 or 2 grid lines short. And I'm actually going to go, so again, I'm going to aim to the left. I automatically did it, but I'm going to aim to the left because of the shape of the green. And I'm going to use a little bit of shot shaping. Don't forget, when you're hitting from the sand, when you're chipping from the sand or chipping from the rough, I'll have a full chipping tutorial from the rough and from the green to help you with those short-sighted chip shots. But when you're in the sand, don't forget, put some shot shaping. hold down LB or L1, move the right stick down, and touch the loft stick a little bit as well. It's going to make your forgiveness area smaller, but I will show you in a minute. Missing chip shots is not a big deal on the green from the sand or anywhere. But here we go. Let's go ahead. We have our shot lined up. Do the eye test. I think I need to add a little bit more to the shot. It doesn't pass the eye test. And we're just going to sit, do a practice swing. Look at where I like to look at the wrist position of the golfer. I'm looking at the wrist. I'm doing a practice swing. And now we're just going to send it. Great golf shot, right? Good landing zone. Took a nice bounce, and then we checked it because we put shot shaping on. If you don't put shot shaping on, let's hit the same shot. Try to hit the same percentage here without any spin. I hit it a little bit harder, but pay attention to the rollout. Look at the rollout. That's why it's so important to practice swing, right? Because you see how hard I hit that? But what I want to show, I showed you the splash shot. You all saw when I hit the splash shot and hit a very fast. Well, let's hit a very fast shot with the chip. And let me show y'all. We're going to do the same shot shaping shot that we just did. Aim at 14, a little bit to the left. A little bit of loft and pretty good amount of spin. Right stick is spin, left stick is loft. And we're gonna try to very fast this. So we hit the very fast. Look what happened. We carried so much further than the splash. We're not back down in the bunker. We actually carried to the green fringe. And we're hitting a shot from the fairway, right? So yeah, it's still punishing, but not near as punishing as the splash shot. And also chip shots, you can actually shot shape a little bit more. You can add a little bit more loft and spin to it. And get it to stick even more, right? So you can play you're seeing a lot of people hit that chip shot, and that's the reason. If we go back to the splash shot and go to the same shot, right? Let's go to the same shot, do shot shaping loft, and let's hit that same fast. That's a very fast, but you get my point, right? We're back in the sand. Let's try it again. Let's do the same thing. We're still in the gray zone there. That's still anywhere in the gray in the splash is really forgiving. Gray and white is really good. Anytime outside of that, it's so punishing. That's the reason you're seeing people hit chip shots. So I honestly, personally really enjoy the splash shot. I enjoy the challenge of it. But if you're so frustrated with it, just hit a chip shot, right? So there's no harm in hitting the chip shot out of the sand. I know it's unrealistic, right? You're not going to chip it from the sand in real life. But with how punishing it is compared to the chip, that's why you're seeing that. So let's move to another example here. Let's do a little longer of a bunker shot. So I hit B, I'm moving around to another sand shot. So we have a longer sand shot here down a slope. It's a 32-yard sand shot, uphill 5. So the uphill is going to take off a little bit distance, not a big effect. But we have a great lie here. Look at this, 85, 93%. So I'm going to choose the number in the middle for a calculation. I'm going to choose like 89. So 0.89 times 35 is going to give us 31, right? So it's already there. So 31, I'm going ahead to compensate for the rough. This is where if I hit a full shot in the sand, it's going to carry here. That's going to be way too far, right? We're hitting into a downslope. So I'm going to actually visualize and take off about 5. I'm going to take off about 6 grid lines and let it down this hill because I know it's going to roll out a mile even with a little bit of shot shaping. So I have my distance, and now I'm going to take a look at the green. It's breaking right to left the whole time. It's going to hit and then roll its way to the left the whole time. So I'm going to go ahead and compensate about a grid outside. You can read it just like a putt if you wanted to and aim that way. So here's my aiming spot. There's my landing zone. It's uphill. So I'm going to add a little bit of distance because of the uphill change. Slightly, not a big difference. And then you have to take a look at the lie as well, the foot lie. Her feet, the golfer's feet are below the ball. That's going to pull the ball to the left. Not a big effect on chip shots and splash shots. I'm going to compensate for it slightly. Just a few flicks of the stick to the right. And we have our distance. Let's go into our practice swing. This is how I approach every single shot. Got the practice swing. Tempo is feeling pretty solid right now. But again, it's a downhill slope, everybody. You better be hitting LB using a little bit of shot shaping. If you don't want to touch the shot shaping, then make sure you aim much further back because your ball is going to roll a lot more out of the sand. So I'm going to do a little bit of loft, a little bit of backspin, and then we're just going to hit the golf shot. Feel for that. Look for the spot. I play without the meter, so I'm actually not even looking at the meter. Underswung a little bit. So what happened was there? Underswung slightly, but that wasn't the big problem. The lie, what we got the lower percent of the lie range, right? We're also hitting into an uphill slope in the sand. It's something I forgot to account for. That's the importance of going through this with you all. The uphill bunker lie is important as well. That took off distance. When you're sitting on an upslope, so like this hill this is pretty significant moving down, so uphill lie, and it's a side hill lie. That's going to take off distance as well. We also got the lower percent, so the bunker played more towards the 85% as well, and I used too much shot shaping. So let's actually hit the same shot with no shot shaping and just watch it roll. Overswung slightly that time. Good rollout. Got the good shot. So we compensated for the uphill lie and the side hill lie. The lower percent, we got the lower percent of the lie range. So take off your shot shaping and send it. That's a lot of the reason why I don't always touch the left stick when I hit bunker shots. A lot of times I just adjust the right stick. A lot of times I just adjust the spin, which is the right stick. Some of that is because the forgiveness penalty you get by changing both of them. But a lot of times the loft will take off too much distance, right, from what you want. So let's approach the same shot with the chip shot, because if we fast that, which you're going to do a lot, wow, you're in trouble. So if I hit this chip shot in an 85-92% lie, I already know that's going to be too short. So I'm actually going to go ahead up to the, let's go to the sand wedge because we're down this slope. All right, so let's go ahead and calculate for the lie range here. So 26 yards times 0.88 is the number in between I'm choosing. This could land 22 yards, could be the flight of it, but remember, it could affect it more, it could affect it less. In this example, we already know it's going to affect it more. So I'm going to go ahead and compensate for that and add about 5 yards to my shot. So we're basically hitting a full sand wedge shot here into the slope, out of the sand, and it's hitting into a downhill lie, right? So the downhill sloped green and right to left. So I'm going to go ahead and compensate with that with my aim. Instinctively, we have to take a look at the lie angle as well. So the feet are below the ball. It's going to come off to the left. I already know we're hitting into a downslope here. I probably need a little bit of backspin. So I'm going to hit LB, use the right stick, add a little bit of spin, and we're just going to send this. Slowed it slightly. It's going to send it off to the right. Look at this roll nicely down the hill. If I don't put as much spin there, and if I don't slow it, first of all, that's rolling right down by the hole. But if I put less backspin on it, in this specific example, slight slow again, not a big slow, it's going to roll down just beautifully. That is why a lot of people are hitting the chip shot. You have more control. You have more control over the spin. It's less risky because watch, if I very fast this, but let's try to very fast this. Look at that. Like, it's so forgiving. It's insane. We're still on the green. If we go back to the splash shot and hit the same example. All right, let's go to the splash shot again with the sand wedge, or lob wedge it would be. Well, enjoy your next shot, right? Chip shot, you're going to be on the green. So that is why you're seeing so many people chip from the sand, because it's a much more forgiving shot. I think that is likely going to actually be changed with the patch. So by the time you're watching this, you just focus on the splash shots and the tips on the splash shots. What's key though, in summary, work on your tempo, work on hitting your partial splash shots, do practice swings, focus on, if you have the power meter off, focus on your golfer's hands in relation to the golfer's body. When it vibrates, look at that one spot. I'm looking at the spot where the hands are. Like, I'm looking at that spot on my screen. That's where I'm focusing on. As soon as they get there, I'm swinging. That's how I focus power, right? On all my golf shots. And You don't have to bring the stick all the way back for partial shots. Sometimes it helps people to bring it back about 50% and just barely move it forward, right? If you like me, you play on master difficulty setting, which makes this a lot more challenging, but just keep working on it. You can hit splash shots. Don't forget about spin on splash shots. Be careful with the loft, the left stick, but change the attacking angle, the right stick, and add some spin on the shot. Don't be afraid to add some spin on it. Without spin, splash shots roll out way too much. It's insane. That is how I wanted to go through my tutorial videos. I like to go through the way I approach the shots. I like to go through my full thought process. I know they're very in-depth, but when I'm actually playing my rounds, my other videos and live streams, you all know I play very quickly. I go through this stuff really fast. I have a lot of experience with it. It's hard. It is a really challenging game. Splash shots and bunker shots are the hardest thing in this game. Keep working on it. Keep practicing. Let me know what you're struggling with in a comment down below. Let me know if this was helpful to you. And if you have any questions, I appreciate you all for all the support. Thank you for watching this video to the end. I will be doing a chipping tutorial as well from the fringe, fairway, and from the rough, which I find myself chipping from the rough all the time. It could be live by the time you're watching this, but appreciate you all. Drop a like if you got some enjoyment, subscribe for more. I will see you in the next one. As always, have a fantastic day, everybody.